right, let's keep this train going. Next to me, come to stage. Give it up for McConville, everybody! I hate telemarketers, which really sucks because I am one. I made a booty call for my girlfriend the other night. She asked to put me on the do not call list. Things aren't all bad. I'm moving up and into management. And what I figured out in management is I have a lot of rehabbers that work for me. The problem is that most of them haven't sobered up and started rehab yet. So that kind of makes managing them a lot like herding kittens that are all hopped up on catnip and cocaine. We walk through the office and you can hear them in the back row. Oh man, I'll suck your dick for some catnip. They can't talk for shit, but they dial like crazy, I promise you. Just crazy stuff happens. Today, one of my employees came up to me, he walks up to my desk, and he says, mister, because apparently Mike is a really fucking hard name to learn. Oh, mister, I have to go home early today. I've got to do my laundry. No, I'm serious. So I'm like, no, we're really busy. I need you to stay. Request denied. So he looked at me, and he said, oh, really? And he shit his pants in front of me. Comes back to work tomorrow. He's going to get a raise and a promotion because he may not give a shit about his job, but we need people that won't take no for an answer. Now, speaking of shitting your pants, let's talk about babies. I don't have any kids that I acknowledge. I move a lot, they can't find me. But I don't understand new parents. I had a friend of mine come up to me, here's my new baby Mercedes, 3-door, C-Class. Isn't she cute? And I'm like, no, it's not. She looks like a drunk old man who can't hold her head up. And why did you name that kid Mercedes? It should have been Hugo or Mini Cooper. I know that girl's father. Sorry, Mercedes parents. Should have invited you. I don't understand how parents are so optimistic about their children. Right? I'm much more of a realist, right? And good parents. My baby's so smart. My baby's going to go to a great college. My baby's going to be president. I look at that same baby as a realist, and I say, no. I see that kid growing up, smoking doobies with some douchebag named Derek on break in the call center. I see that same kid skipping so much school, they're never going to get into a college period. With perk, you're going to save some money on the tuition. That kid is going to knock somebody up at 16 years old, be drunk most of their life. Are we looking at the same baby? That kid's not going to be president. Outside chance of being a senator. Now, oh. Occupy Palm Beach Improv. So I grew up in a small town, this tiny little town called Brookfield, Massachusetts. I know none of you ever came from there because I'm the only one that ever escaped the John Deere tractor beam that holds people in town. This town was so small, it was really sad. Whenever we had parades, there was no spectators. And it's not that nobody wanted to watch the parade, it's just that everybody was in the parade. Including the town hooker, who was also the pharmacist, very convenient, always had condoms and antibiotics when you needed them. The town was so small, we didn't have a token black family. We shared the Jenkins with the next town over. And I remember my mother would drive us through the bad section of town and lock the doors right past the pharmacy. in old man Jensen's house. And in this little town, I played Little League Baseball, and I was the best player in the league. Yep, both teams. Until the day I had to face fucking Ray Peterson. Ray Peterson was a 6'5", 250-pound, 33-year-old fifth grader. He had stayed in school so many years, the teachers referred to him as Mr. Peterson. I stepped into the plate to face him, and he stared down at me. And he tipped his hat at his wife and kids. Spat a big wad of chew, because nobody was telling Ray Peterson you can't do chew in the league. He fixed his mustache, and he fired a pitch right at my head. And down I went in the dirt. And as I'm laying there in the dirt, I'm thinking, well, I wasn't thinking anything because I was completely unconscious. But when I came to, there was my mother nursing me back to health. And I said, Mom, in my little scared boy voice, Mom, I'm afraid of the baseball, and I'm afraid of Ray Peterson. And she was not going to take no for an answer because she believed I could be the best player in the league. So she grabbed my sack of balls, most of you know it as a scrotum, and she dragged me outside to pitch to me. And I'll be honest, at first I was afraid. I was petrified. I kept thinking, how am I going to live my life without you by my side? But I got some confidence after a couple of hits. I got my swerve back, I got my swagger. I called my next shot like the Babe. And that's when I learned something about my mother. She's a little bit competitive. And Mom, are you pissed at me for that? And she stared in at me. Big wad of chew. She fixed her mustache too. And she fired a pitch right at my head. And as I'm laying in the dirt, going in and out of consciousness, she walked by, one more spit, and said, thank God your father owns a call center. That's all my time tonight. My name is McConville.
Absolutely great job. Next